when I think of where home is, like where I feel connected to, it's like just pine tree stands in Southeast Georgia is home to me. And I bring it up in this conversation too, because whenever I talk about my work in the environmental field and why I chose this field, I always talk about my grandfather on my mom's side, who I would visit, who lives in Statesboro, is really my environmental teacher. And it's the inspiration for the work that I do specifically now in the field. And so I feel a strong sense of connection to him. Both my grandparents are from South Alabama, so I feel this kind of deep connected Southern history. But the things my grandfather taught me were to respect land and where you live and your place. He taught me how to recycle. I used to be his little recycling champion because he would make me fetch all the aluminum cans that would fall behind the trash can when I was a little kid. And we spent a lot of time in the car together, and he would just stop at people's houses if they had like a blueberry bush, blueberries they weren't picking, and he would say, "Hey, can I have your blueberries?" Sure. He'd take them home, he'd can them, he'd keep half, and the next time he was driving by, he would drop the jam off. And I just learned all these things in this very quiet way of just being around my grandfather. What I learned through that program, one, is how U.S. policy works, especially on the environmental side, why economics is a driver. I just learned how the system operates, which was really important, and it kind of requires that you take off your rose-colored glasses. And then the last thing that I'll say that I think is really important for me doing climate change work is that I have a certificate in climate science, and I learned the science of climate change through this program. And I think that I learned why this is a big problem. I thought I knew, but I didn't really fully grasp what a large problem it was. But I also learned to have enough confidence in the science to be able to respond to skepticism of the science. And the confidence that I have to say, you can't really kind of shake me of my belief. You probably couldn't have before, but it's almost laughable to me if you attempt. But I'm doing a project with a team on climate innovation and technology, which I work in the field and still sometimes don't know what that means, but it's a very broad term. They're advocating for research and development funding at Department of Energy for new clean energy technology, et cetera. But they've brought me in to do some what I'm calling strategic visioning for them on how rural communities across the country want to see those investments show up in their communities. What solutions do they need? What solutions do they want? And how does talking about solutions potentially change the conversation on climate with some of these communities? So I am currently doing interviews like this. I've done 25 stakeholder interviews with folks across the country to kind of develop, what is their vision for clean energy technology moving forward in rural communities. So I'm doing these interviews right now, or kind of wrapping up, and I talk to a lot of folks who don't want to talk about climate change, or these environmental advocates coming to talk to me. This happened when I did my master's research, when we did the big rural attitude study at Duke. We did a lot of interviewing, and folks, not always, but a lot of times will kind of reluctantly talk to me. And by the end of conversations, they often comment on what a pleasant time they had talking to me and how excited they feel, and how connected to this field that they felt and getting to talk to me that they don't normally. And that really helps one sustain me through the reluctant starts of conversations, knowing that like we will get to a good place at the end. Um, but it I feel like my role in my work is to be a storyteller, to find collaborative solutions through people's lived experiences. And so, like, hearing that feedback of people kind of trust me with their stories, that just, it's like a big win. And it's a very quiet win because it's just me in my office by myself, but that really matters to me.